For the next step on our Lotus sunflowers, we're going to trim them out and we're going to outline them first. And I'm going to use my Pitt Artist pen. If you're not used to using one of these, it's got this really nice soft nib to it that allows, it has the flexibility in the nib that you can get thick and thin weights of lines with it. So when I start the brush stroke, I want you to notice it looks thicker because I'm pressing down more. And then if you ease up on the pressure, you get a lighter stroke. And that's all I'm doing is I'm practicing strokes where I'm pushing down harder and then easing up on the pressure so that the thickness of the stroke becomes thinner. And that's all this is, really. It's very important to get your body really comfortable. I've got my arm resting on the table, and I can totally adjust my wrist and, be very, very comfortable with each stroke. This is sped up. I'm doing it a lot slower than you see here. And it just takes probably a little bit of practice to get the varying widths, as we were talking, with various line weights in your strokes. That's all. That's really all I wanted to show you here. So there we have it. We did all of our line work, and now we're going to trim them out. And so I'm going to grab my scissors. I like using a scissors that are short handled because I find that a little bit easier to maneuver as I'm cutting. And I like to cut away the excess parts of the paper first. So first I'm going to just cut the paper in half to separate the two flowers. And then I'm going to cut around and just remove the really big areas of paper that I don't need. So it doesn't really matter where you start, but the other thing I wanted to mention, you really don't have to cut right up onto the black line. In fact, I think it looks better if you leave a little bit of white. And then when you're cutting and you're getting to a place like this in between the petals, you can just keep the scissors attached and turn the paper and have a little curve there. Here, when you get to the top, just cut close, but don't cut all those intricate parts yet. I'm going to show you that in a second. Here I'm just going around and removing all the excess, and I'm coming back to that top part. And what I want you to notice here is that I'm going to cut some of them right up by the black, and some of them I'm going to add another petal that isn't even there. There's no black line for that one that I just cut, but it's still going to look really nice. I don't even have to have a black line. So here's another one. I'm cutting far away from the black line. It doesn't matter. By the time you glue these down in your collage, that's actually not even going to be noticeable. So don't kill yourself over the trimming. Don't worry about it. It doesn't have to be perfect. And there's another one I added, and that's it. So that one's all done. And I actually really like it real light like that. I might add more color in there, maybe not, I'm not sure. But on the next step, we're going to finesse these just a little bit more. Here's my second one. I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to trim across the top fairly close, but I'm not going to do the detail cutting yet. I'm removing the really excessive, big, bulky parts of the paper. Because that makes it easier for me to cut in the detail parts. So here I am doing like a final cut, going in tight and close. And here's what I meant about how you can turn the paper while you're cutting to get an inside corner. And here I'm going to do it again. And see how I just made a sharp corner there by turning it. So don't remove the scissors. Leave them in there when you're, and then turn the paper, if that makes sense. See, I left the scissors in there. So same thing, we just keep on trimming, and you're going to have all of these beautiful lotus flowers trimmed out for your collage. And it's very forgiving, honestly. It's okay if you cut into the black line. It's okay if you cut far away from the black line. It all works. It's all good. Here I'm going to cut a long petal with no black line, and you'll see it looks pretty good. So I'm cutting a petal that isn't even there. And I'm almost done. Hopefully, I think I'm going to show you it. I think they turned out pretty nice. And then the stem, you can always make the stems a little bit thinner. Okay, so there it is. See, that looks really nice. It doesn't have to have a black outline on it. So there's that one. And here they are all lined up. And I'm going to show you how to finesse them even more on the next step.